Corpbiz.
Hello viewers, welcome to Corpbiz. My name is Shalin Verma, and today in this video we will understand the relevance of Social Impact Assessment or SIA in the environmental clearance process. So SIA along with Rehabilitation and Resettlement forms an integral part of land acquisition under the Right to Fair Compensation and Transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act of 2013. The SIA studies and related provisions are enshrined in Section 4.1 to Section 9 of the Act. The SIA study is mandatory, barring a few exceptions, under this 2013 Act. The informed and transparent rehabilitation and resettlement cannot be ignored and should involve all stakeholders, including the affected person, before a proposal for a project is acted upon. So, a social impact assessment must have two primary goals. First is minimizing or avoiding adverse environmental and social effects and integrating environmental and social concerns into the decision-making process during the construction of that project. The effectiveness of a SIA report is evaluated based on its ability to achieve these goals. Typically, a SIA relates community engagement, acceptance, technical design, construction, and operational aspects of a project before its implementation. The SIA study consists of scoping, natural environmental study, pollution control study, social environmental study, impact identification and assessment, preparation of mitigation plan, environmental and social monitoring plan, and conducting their public consultation meetings and information disclosure process. So, what are the relevant factors in case of social impact assessment? Let's understand. The term social impact refers to the consequences to the human population of any public or private action that affects the way in which the people live, work, and relate to one another. The term also includes cultural impacts involving changes in the values and beliefs that guides and rationalize their cognition of themselves and their society. Adverse social impacts could be in the form of loss of land, loss of structure, loss of livelihood, loss of crops, trees, and loss of access to community infrastructure or public utility lines. Now, let's understand the steps involved in the social impact assessment process. Step 1 is identifying the baseline conditions. SIA must describe the appropriate human environment of the area of influence and the baseline conditions. A baseline study involves surveying the primary environmental factors near the project site before construction commences. The result of this survey will be used as a reference point to assess any changes in the factors over time that may occur as a result of the project. Step 2 will be public involvement. A SIA should include effective public plan to involve all potentially affected members and as many community members as possible and acknowledge the negative consequences so that they can be addressed openly. In addition to it, the SIA must seek to balance both economic needs with social needs. The next step is project description and identification of alternatives. SIA must be carried out in the affected area considering the project's impact on public and community properties, assets, and infrastructure. The next stage is screening. The EIA process begins with the project screening to determine if the assessment is necessary at all, and if it is, what level of detail is required. The guidelines for determining the need of an EIA may vary depending on the country-specific laws or norms in the place. Banks may also conduct screening to determine if an EIA is necessary based on their own criteria for financing projects. The next stage is scoping. Scoping is utilized to identify the critical issues of concern early in the planning. The scoping outcomes determine the extent, depth, and terms of reference to be addressed within the environmental statement. The next step is predicting response to impacts and mitigation. Mitigation aims to prevent, reduce, or compensate for anticipated adverse effects when necessary and integrate them into an environmental management strategy. The last stage is management and monitoring. This includes impact monitoring, which requires measuring the project's area, biophysical and socio-economic parameters, including public health during the construction and operational phases. This is done to identify any environmental change that may have arisen due to the project's implementation, such as air pollution, dust, noise, water contamination, etc. Finally, an independent multidisciplinary expert group will examine the SIA report with two non-official social science and rehabilitation experts. The SIA clearance will be accorded as per the procedure and within a specified time limit. Now, social impact assessment is a crucial process that must be conducted before implementing any development project. Through SIA, the project's impact on the environment, the community, and the economy can be assessed and addressed, resulting in sustainable development that is both environmentally sound and socially responsible. Conducting social impact assessment will help estimate the number of families that will be displaced and affected, and also calculate the compensation that must be paid. So, if your project requires a social impact assessment, you can contact our NABET certified consultants at Corpbiz from the details shown. This was all for today's video. Like and share if you found this information useful. Also remember to subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.